Okay, kind of skipping around, getting things in order for our first benchmark coming up. We need to cover powers and exponents. When you think of exponents, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? If I have, let's say, first example, let's say I have 4 to the third power. The 3 is the power, or the exponent, which means I need to take the 4 and multiply it by itself 3 times. And if they ask you to actually solve this, you would take 4 times 4, which would give you 16, and then 16 times 4 gives you 64. What if they just asked you to identify, it's a separate example, what if they ask you to simplify or identify that? Because it's taking the same x times itself, how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can rewrite this as x to the 5th power. Now, because I don't know what x is, I can't take it any further than that. So x to the 5th power. So let's get some that we can actually solve. How about x to the 3rd power if x equals 3? So because it says I know what my x is, I'm going to substitute it. So this is 3 to the 3rd power. Everywhere I see x, I'm going to replace it with 3. And then I'm going to rewrite this, and I want everybody rewriting this step. This is 3 times 3 times 3. Be very careful here. The common mistake is to take 3 times 3 and make it 9. But in this case, I need to take 3 times 3 times 3, which is going to be 3 times 3 is 9. And then I'm going to take 9 times 3 to give me a final answer of 20. Again, most common mistakes. 5 squared is not 10. And I'm putting exclamation point and big letters, and I'm yelling right now. 5 squared is not 10. It does not mean 5 times 2. It means 5 times itself twice, which is going to give me an answer of 5. Be very careful not to multiply by the exponent, but take the number times itself as many times as the exponent. Does it work with, how would you rewrite? Oh, that was crazy. How would you rewrite that? I don't know what x is. I don't know what y is. So they're just variables at this point. It's being taken to a power of 4. So I need to take the whole thing times itself 4 times. And because I don't know what x or y are, I just finish with xy times xy times xy. Let's throw some negative numbers in there. This kind of links to what we did a couple lessons ago right before the test. I'm going to take negative 2 4 times. And when I'm multiplying negatives, remember in our lesson, first just do the numbers. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. So my number is going to be 16. Now I count my negative signs. Negative signs, 2 negative signs, 3 negative signs, 4 negative signs. Because I have an even number of negative signs, that will make my answer positive. Remember, even number of negative signs, answer positive. Odd number of negative signs, answer negative. What if I take something, we've done positive integers at this point. What if I take something to the 0 power? Okay, excuse me. What if I take something to the 0 power? There is a rule. Wow, crazy on this side of the board today. Anything raised through modern technology, I just wrote really quickly. Anything raised to the 0 power is 1. So 4 to the 0 power is 1. 8 to the 0 power is 1. Negative 12 to the 0 power is 1. And, excuse me, even our wonderful friends, the fractions, raised to the 0 power is 1. I should put that in parentheses. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Okay. Let's look at one last example. Let's say I have let's find this value if x equals 3. Okay? Now, we need to go ahead and do the substitution. So that's going to be 4. And in parentheses, I'm going to replace that x with the 3. Now, we still need to take care of that parentheses. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So this is going to be 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. Now, PEMDAS comes in effect right here. I now have multiplication, and I also have exponents. So which one comes first? If I go over here on my list, exponents comes first. So what is 9 to the 2nd power? This means 4 times 9 times 9. 9 to the 2nd power is 9 times 9. That's going to end up with 4. 9 times 9 gives me 81. And then when I take, I'm going to do this the long way just to show you, 81 times 4. I end up with 324. Okay, that is today's lesson on exponents. We'll see you tomorrow.